Good morning. My name is Clarissa Ramos. I'm a senior at the University of Alabama, and I'm a Spanish major with a minor in public policy. I'm currently studying abroad here in Granada, España. I'm studying at the 𝗟𝗘𝗧'𝗦. With that, I'm also living in an apartment that I share with 2 other girls. So feel free to ask me any questions you have about that. For breakfast, we're making eggs. The yolks are so yellow. I love it. Here in Granada, I live in an apartment sharing with 2 other girls. We go through our stash of Aquarius very quickly. Aquarius is kind of like Gatorade or Powerade because it has mineral salt. We drink a lot of it for hydration and funsies. So I'm on the early start program, which means that I'm taking a month of language classes before the real semester starts. And with this intensive language class schedule, my classes are from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. So I tend to leave my apartment and begin my walk to school by 9:30ish. I live really close to school, so it's a chill walk. So I got out of class and I love 𝗟𝗘𝗧'𝗦, but unlike the panaderia that I went to earlier, 𝗟𝗘𝗧'𝗦 does not have seating inside, but it's really close to Plaza de la Trinidad. So I just walk from the bakery to the plaza, find a bench, sit down, eat my lunch. But basically 𝗟𝗘𝗧'𝗦, I like it because the products are good, and also the fact that it's really cheap. Especially even when compared to just a coffee shop, because obviously coffee shops do have baristas, you're sitting at a table, there's more employees, more expenses. So it's a colacao at the cafeteria that's really close to the 𝗟𝗘𝗧'𝗦 modernas could cost me €3 for table service, or table service or to go, doesn't matter, €3. But here I get a little colacao. I get a little colacao, a slice of pizza, and a croissant for €3.20, which I can do the conversion for you, but it's not that much, and it's a good lunch. It's nice. I like it. What's your favorite place to go in Granada? And I don't want to say that it's all nice, but it kind of is. At least in el centro, I feel like 𝗟𝗘𝗧'𝗦 is the most historical neighborhood. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and there's lots of amazing views, but to get to those amazing views you have to go up a lot of stairs. Alberto, one of the people here at AIFS Spain, he basically says that the suffering makes it more beautiful, which is kind of true, but Normally, I like to stay in El Centro. In terms of spots I like, 𝗟𝗘𝗧 is fun for a night out, and 𝗟𝗘𝗧 is like a tapas bar that has tapas internacionales, and I really like it. 𝗟𝗘𝗧 is like the best vintage store. 3 of my going out tops are from 𝗟𝗘𝗧. This is the other vintage store I'm absolutely obsessed with. It's really creatively curated, but like a lot of businesses here, they close between the hours of 2 and 5 p.m. But like some businesses instead will close at like 2:30 or 3 and then reopen on 5 p.m. But this is a 2 to 5 closed place. Alberto, ¿qué es tu lugar favorito en Granada?
Hombre, la Alhambra, por supuesto, es nuestro orgullo, es el principal.
Eres natural.
Alhambra y la catedral, que la vamos a visitar hoy. Vais a conocer la catedral y la tumba de los Reyes Católicos.
¡Woo!
Muy bonito.
¿Cuál es tu comida favorita en Granada? Okay, so my favorite food in Granada, I go to panaderías a lot because it's like affordable and I am broke. And then I also like going out to tapas, whether it's like somewhere like Boy where you get to pick your own tapa, or just literally anywhere with tapas. Like I just got back from a tour of the cathedral and Royal Chapel. So in terms of how my Spanish is, basically I personally am at a level of B2.1 on the CEFR scale, which would be considered like the first level you could possibly consider yourself to be fluent in a language. And then within the context of El Centro de Lenguas Modernas, I'm at like a level 6 because basically they break up the CEFR scale further into 9 academic terms worth of content if you were like starting from 0 and going up from there. How welcoming are the locals to international students? Very. The thing is, Granada and Salamanca are like the top 2 like cities or universities that receive Erasmus students, and Erasmus is like how European students go to like do study abroad in other European countries. So basically this is a big college town. It's a big college town and there's so many international students that it wouldn't make sense for the locals not to be nice to us. But also it's a thing of if you're nice to other people, then they'll be nice to you back. Like, say hi, buenas, you know, be polite. How do you make friends studying abroad? Well, the first way of making friends is through something like AIFS. I feel like AIFS gave me my first set of like built-in besties, because I did early start. So with early start, 7 students came. I live with two of them, so like 3 of the 7 are in this apartment, and then with the other 4 it's like we're in constant communication with each other. And then in terms of making other friends, it's just like normal college. You're gonna make friends in your classes, you're gonna make friends just by going out, you know. So you're gonna make friends, like, don't worry about it. Do you have to know Spanish to do this program? Well, yes and no. Basically, if you know Spanish or not, that'll determine how your life looks academically. So for example, like we have one girl in the program who she's at like level 1 of Spanish right now, and basically what that means for her is that she does not know Spanish, but then that means during the regular semester, which is about to start, she's gonna take, outside of her language classes, like Spanish as a foreign language classes, all her content courses are gonna be in English. Whereas for me, I'm at a level that all my content courses are gonna be in Spanish, and they're gonna be at a more advanced level. So the regular semester is gonna look different for you depending on what your Spanish level is, but you don't necessarily have to know Spanish to come out here to Granada. What classes will you be taking once your early start language class is over? Okay, so once my language class is over, I'm going to be taking either 4 or 5 classes in el Centro de Lenguas Modernas, but it's basically because of my Spanish level, all my classes are going to be taught in Spanish, and they're going to be on a variety of topics. So like one class I'm going to potentially be taking is on like the transition from the Franco dictatorship to democratic Spain. Another class is like the diversity of Spanish in the world, and then potentially if I do take a 5th class instead of just 4 classes, then I will also get to take an introduction to the Arabic language class, which could potentially be really exciting. What do you study in Granada? Well, as I said in my introduction, I'm a Spanish major, so Spanish. But the thing is, because I'm like a senior and at a high level in Spanish and everything, I'm going to be taking classes that are more in depth on the culture and language of Spain. So I don't know, like I said in the last video, I'm going to take a class that's on like the transition from the Franco dictatorship to democratic Spain. It's just going to get really specific in terms of culture, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. What's your living situation? Well, to just give a summary, I live in an apartment with 2 other girls. Everyone gets, so it's 3 of us in total, and then everyone has their own bedroom. I'm currently filming this from my roommate's her balcony, because basically all of our rooms have windows but only one has a balcony. So I'm occupying her balcony right now. And then with being in an apartment as opposed to a homestay or residencia, we like do our own groceries and make our own food. However, we do have like a housekeeper that comes once a week, but we still have to do like cleaning. That is not the housekeeper's job. In terms of how I'm strategizing making friends outside of AIFS or just outside of like the natural stuff in my classes, it's more I'm just targeting Europeans that speak Spanish as opposed to Spaniards specifically. So I go to like a lot of Erasmus events, which are events tailored towards like more towards European international students, and then I do introductions in Spanish. A lot of the times I do end up meeting Spaniards, because like I know some Spaniards who will purposely try to target those events because they know that it'll be a lot of young people, a lot of students there, as opposed to like if you go to like a club on a random night, you don't know what the age range of the people there is going to be, whereas if you go to an Erasmus event, you know exactly what you're going to get. Okay, well, I go to the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, and then last summer I studied in Madrid for 2 months. So for me, this feels like a mix of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and Madrid, in the sense that it's a college town, but it's fun, it's Spanish, it's lively, it's like there's basically always something to do, unless it's a Sunday during the day, but that also is very Tuscaloosa vibes. So the weather here is nice, and as someone from California, I feel like I know what nice weather is, so it's just good. I don't really know how to describe it. Like it doesn't feel too dry or too humid. Sometimes in the morning it can be a little chilly, but then during the day it'll be fine, and then it's like totally nice. But also it's September right now. It's like obviously in August it was more hot, and then like once we get into December it's gonna be winter, and you know nothing can save you from winter, right? But and I mean we're close to the mountains. As part of the early start program, I'm taking an intensive language class that I just like took a placement test, and then there was an add drop period for me to get into my level in the language class. And then during the regular semester, which is going to start very soon, I'm going to be taking 4 or 5 content courses in Estudios Hispánicos, Hispanic Studies, the Alhambra, also 𝗟𝗘𝗧'𝗦. Like, you know, you gotta hit up the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. I feel like it's mandatory. Personally, I have visited multiple cities in Spain, and then through the AIFS program, there's an included trip to Sevilla, Cordoba, and Gibraltar, and then there's a trip that if enough students sign up, we'll go to Morocco. Morocco's right next door. Granada is actually like the last city / kingdom that was Muslim before the end of la Reconquista. Yeah, I really want to go to Morocco. one Spanish word or phrase you use every day. I'm at like B2 level, so I talk in Spanish a lot here, but I don't know, I feel like gracias and perdón are like the most important in terms of having good manners and surviving in a place. Yesterday, I tried this type of churros that are called alambritos, and I got them with like sugar on top, and you know, that was pretty good. But also, you can't, if you eat pork, then you can't pass up some high quality jamon. I chose Granada primarily because, one, I wanted to return to Spain. That was like the biggest part. I'd studied in Spain before and I knew I wanted to come back. But then also, I'm a senior, and this university was the only one with pre-approved classes for my major. I literally have 2 classes left in my Spanish major, so this was the place to be. But also, there are other reasons to choose Granada. Like literally, Granada and Salamanca are like the top 2 college towns in this entire country. Granada is the place to be as like a university student. Eve, why did you choose Granada?
I really wanted to increase my Spanish abilities, and I wanted to be in Spain because I don't know, I've never been, and it seemed really cool, and Europe seemed really cool to be in, so I think I chose right. This is the perfect city.
And then can you let the camera know what your Spanish level is?
I am by number level 3, so I'm like an A something. I don't have a ton of Spanish ability, but I have some background in it, and I'm definitely learning a lot by being here.
So, what's your living situation like? Okay, so we live in an apartment. Compared to other apartments I've been into of like people in other programs, basically ours has a really weird layout, but it's in el centro, in like a really amazing location, and for people to have like more modern seeming apartments, it usually means that they have to live further out, and I prefer living in, I don't know, this place with very fascinating decor. And also like usually in Europe, the kitchen, this is the kitchen, and usually in Europe it's like your washing machine is part of your like kitchen under the counter, but we have like an alcove, which is, I don't know, I mean, it's nice in its own way, but it's just kind of, I don't know. I feel like a good way to know if this is a mealtime or not is how packed and vibey the terrazas are. Just like some notes for my walk. Wow, some terrazas, like outdoor dining, were getting full and vibey already. Some were still completely empty. And the thing is, like, Alberto, the like site support advisor, I think that's his job title. Alberto, he has told us that like sometimes he doesn't eat dinner until like 10 p.m. So it's like not everybody's gonna be full yet. And then I'm about to go to the Erasmus event, but the thing with that, with both the Erasmus events and dinner times, is that it's like the Americans and Germans will pull up really early compared to like people from anywhere in Southern Europe, which is funny. Before I get ready to go to bed, I'm just gonna bring up the fact that Spaniards on average sleep 1 hour less than the average European. So do with that information what you will.